Good afternoon. You're listening to Weekly Victory Bells News, the world's choice for weekly news. As we conclude this Christmas season, the League of Nations officiated over what may be its first territorial dispute in years. Norway, facing pressure from both the Allies and Axis, proposed its military bases to the INPF rather than be swayed to either side. Perhaps more surprisingly, both the Allies and Axis agreed that neutral use of Norwegian bases was worth looking into. A League commissioner was sent to Narvik to formalize details of the lease. The Comintern presented the League with evidence of battles against Finnish forces using Morgana technology, as well as trade locations between the two forces. The League sent investigators to follow up these claims. The Italian Navy enjoyed a week of light Morgana sightings while stationed near East Africa. Even so, the knowledge that Morgana were gathering out in the ocean left many uneasy. At home, the Mussolini government resumed its efforts to sway Yugoslavia to its sphere, who in turn consulted with Allied forces on these developments. The British government began its promised coal trade, but found difficulty delivering these shipments over water. France spent its week clearing mines moved by the Morgana Mischief from its waters. No ships were damaged in the work. France also granted Spanish doctors access to the recovered sailors from an earlier battle, but Spain found them to be exactly as the French described, mutilated and utterly unable to be moved. All over Western Europe, above-average temperatures gave them the first Christmas without snow in years. Japan decided to deal with the Morgana fire once and for all. A combined fleet of Japanese ships pinpointed fire near the Kita-Ioto volcano and sailed out to destroy her. They found a hellish scene full of heat and smoke, and opened up on the unescorted fires with everything they had. The volatile Morganas began to explode, followed by an eruption of the nearby volcano. Relying on their gunnery, the Japanese fleet destroyed every last fire in a grand series of explosions, surviving enemy attack, debris from the volcano, and waves from the subsequent tsunami. 2 heavy cruisers suffered fire damage, and 1 destroyer was seriously charred, but every ship returned home that day. A Japanese delegation arrived in Nanning amid a renewed Chinese offensive. Though the army has held on for now, relentless Chinese attacks have thrown into question the guarantee of a Japanese victory. Finally, the northern campaign near Sakhalin was resolved, led by the first captain, who managed to get Japanese and Soviet ships to work together to clear out the Morgana. The United States settled into a post-Constitution atmosphere. Serious work and a wartime atmosphere replaced the earlier jovial attitude of the Americans, who were now braced for a long, modern war. Regular patrols deterred serious Morgana aggression. Congress returned from its recess to discuss the offer to join the League of Nations. The Soviet Union in the Black Sea dislodged a group of the Morgana Calamity, but not the buoys she had been dropping in the region. In the Baltic, the Navy bombarded a Finnish-held fortress along the coast, forcing the defenders to temporarily flee and potentially opening up another landing for the Soviets. Finally, an explosion of unknown origin rocked a shipyard after it had closed, with both the Army and NKVD forces investigating. The German Kriegsmarine had its leave cancelled in order to transport Polish prisoners to Helgoland without alerting the League of Nations. The island had been steadily more industrialized and militarized, and now resembled a monstrosity of concrete fortifications, rusty metal, and an electrical hum. What contact they did have with the League was to claim that the undesirable Polish citizens were in contact with Morgana. In the west, the Kriegsmarine assisted the neighboring Dutch in their rebuilding efforts in Rotterdam after suffering a Morgana attack in the previous months. Several blamed the German installation on Helgoland for the uncharacteristically warm weather, but no proof has yet been shown. The Royal Navy undertook reconnaissance efforts in the North Sea against Morgana formations. Following this, a number of skirmishes took place against various Morgana in the area, resulting in the loss of personnel of a single ship. After the Royal Navy disengaged, the Morgana did not attempt a pursuit. Elsewhere in the British Empire, Morgana sightings off India and the Persian Gulf attracted concern. Britain, too, was feeling the heat from the uncharacteristic winter. That's all for this week. Join us again at WVBN as we bring you the latest news from around the world. From all of us here at the studio, stay safe out there.